Good afternoon, just turned afternoon on this very cold, snowy London day. I'm sure it's snowing in other places other than London. Good afternoon to you. So Savva here from Savva Talks Football, just doing a live daily thought. So unlike the normal daily thoughts, if you put something in the chat, I will be able to see it right now, and some I will be able to read out, some I won't, depending on how rude they are. Today in this daily thought, I wanted to talk about the following things. I wanted to talk about Gareth Southgate. And does this man need to lose his England job? It seems like most of the country wants him to stay. For me, that means most of the country deserves this utter failure that we are seeing over and over and over again. Also, I want to talk about Pedro Porro. Lots of Spurs fans wanting this guy. Lots of rumours saying we're in for him. But he's also got a buyback clause from Man City to Sporting Lisbon. So what will happen there? And I want to talk about Harry Kane. He is getting all sorts of stick at the moment. I want to talk to Spurs fans today. Well, any fans, is it warranted? Is it a bit harsh? Are there some elements of truth and some elements of just digging at the one player who has got the most goal contributions at the World Cup for England? It's quite an interesting one, but we will dig into it. When I look at, let's start with Harry Kane. This is my thoughts exactly. When I start with Harry Kane, as Nicola says, big up Nicola, says, imagine having Maddison on the bench, but forcing Kane to do two jobs. And this right here, this one decision here, for me, sums up everything about Gareth Southgate as a manager, which we'll come to later. But in terms of Harry Kane, what's being thrown at him is he doesn't turn up in big games, which I suppose you could say is true. Let's be really honest. If we want to take our Spurs hats off, we want to look at it as football fans, and I think it's really important to do that. Does Harry Kane turn up in big games? We're talking semi-finals, World Cup finals, League Cup finals, FA Cup semi-finals. Has he turned up? It's a difficult conversation to have. Spurs fans get very defensive. But if I look at this side of things, I would agree. I don't think he does turn up. Is it always his fault? I would say no. I would say that there has been plenty of times, especially in the last couple of years, where in those big games, you know, he's isolated. In those big games, like against France in the quarterfinal, did anyone create a single chance for Harry Kane in that game? Who's creating for him? So we have to always look, there's two sides to every story, right? So you have to balance those two things out. But there's been plenty of times when he's played in those massive games with the likes of Ali, Eriksen, Vertonghen, out of Irel, Dembele, Son. And he's not stepped up, has he? He's not come to the forefront. He's not come to the party. So it's a really, really difficult one because, look, I don't want him to be singled out in this. I don't. I feel that's cruel. The problem is with football, as we all know, if you put yourself on the pedestal, if fans put you on the pedestal, then that scrutiny is going to come. It's the same thing. Oh, Messi's never won a World Cup. Of course he's going to get that scrutiny because he's Lionel Messi. Oh, Ronaldo, everything that happens at Portugal. Of course he's going to get the scrutiny because he's Cristiano Ronaldo. And Harry Kane is that player for England. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? Let's look at, when we look at some of the conversations here. So this one's about Porro. As Nicola said, about Maddison on the bench. True Blue has said Kane has not turned up. Phil P, big yourself up, has said Kane is definitely being singled out, but of course he should have scored. I back H, he'll be back stronger. And yet we'll talk about will he be back stronger in a bit. Mark Cousins has said, big up Savva, Kane hasn't turned up, has had no service. And again, there it is, right? This is the two sides of the coin. It's a difficult one. Top players, though, more often turn up than not. And I suppose this is always going to be thrown at Kane, isn't it? And it's a difficult one. I was listening. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen the same things that I've seen. And there's a podcast going around. I believe it's a Rio Ferdinand one. And Jermaine Jenas is talking about all of the semis and the finals and the big games that Kane hasn't scored in or turned up in. And then he's talking about Spurs' biggest games, where Spurs have done well, and Kane wasn't actually playing both of those. So is there a correlation? And it's difficult. We can all make what we want of anything, right? We can all get 2 and 2 and find a way to make it equal what we want. The difficulty is this for me. And for me, guys, I'll just say, for me, this isn't about him missing a penalty. Can I just say, I think everyone misses penalties. For me, I think it's more about the more games he plays like this and the more times he doesn't show up and he doesn't score goals, this is going to happen. There is going to be scrutiny. And that is football. We'll defend him. We're Spurs fans. We'll defend him. Other fan bases will absolutely go at him. Any reason to go at him. I suppose the question is, would England be better without him? And for me, the answer is categorically no. We wouldn't be better without him. For me, this links nicely into the Gareth Southgate piece. This is where all these fans who love Southgate, oh, he's done brilliantly. He's done better than any England manager since Alf Ramsey. I look at his tactics. I look at the players available to him, and it beggars belief just how negative this football manager is. For me, he feels like the international version of Antonio Conte, dare I say it before someone starts shouting at me. You've got flair players. You've got players that create. We call them flair players. We've got players that are just good on the ball. Phil Foden. All right, Phil Foden. He didn't start Phil Foden for the first 2 group games and was almost forced with peer pressure via the media and fans to play him. You got Jack Grealish, who's a wonderful footballer. Forget goals. He's wonderfully creative. He drags the team forward. He's always looking for the balls inside the box, the give and go. He'll take his man on. He'll win your fouls. No, Southgate don't want him. Didn't start him once in 5 games. James Maddison, behind Harry Kane in the last 2.5, 3 years, something like that, has got the most goal contributions of any English player in the Premier League. Hasn't played a single second of World Cup football. At the end of the day, when you've got a manager that is ignoring those types of players, I don't think you can then blame the centre forward for not scoring bundles and bundles of goals. Yeah, if we look at the strikers that are scoring goals, when you look at Benzema, sorry, he's not there, is he? When you look at Mbappe, for example, look at the wonderful creativity he's got around him. Wonderful footballers like Griezmann, wonderful footballer, by the way. All these England fans not picking him in their combined 11, quality footballer. So look, it all depends on how you look at it. But let's be fair, Spurs fans, let's be fair. Kane is going to take a lot of abuse over the next 6 months. He is. It's what England fans do, unfortunately. It's not right, but it's what they do. They did it to Bukayo Saka. Bit different. A bit more of it was racially motivated, which is a terrible thing. And he's come back stronger. Harry Kane's going to get it in the ear because he's England captain. He's missed a penalty. I mean, it's a penalty. Who hasn't missed a penalty? And we went through this on the show last night. I don't believe there's a single player that's never missed a penalty. I don't mean someone who's taken 3 or 4, but when you take 40, 50, 60 penalties, you miss penalties. Messi misses loads. Ronaldo's missed a lot. Yeah. Shearer missed penalties. Yeah. Who else missed? Lewandowski missed some penalties this tournament. I feel it's a bit harsh, but let's quickly go through some of the comments. And as always, please chuck your comments in and we can discuss whatever you like. Ayesh, big up to you. I said, hello, Savva. Do you think Harry will be able to mentally recover? I do think he will. I just wonder, and I'll let you lot talk about this. I wonder whether or not this pushes him now to want to leave to more than maybe he did before, because he desperately now wants to prove people are wrong and win trophies in his career. I don't know how much he will want to be labelled as somebody who's not a winner. I don't know. You guys tell me. I don't know what. I don't know what to suggest with that one. If I'm really, really honest, who knows? So, Phil Pierce said, spot on Savva. What did we create from the Champions League final 2019? For me, I think there was a different one, Phil, if I'm honest. I think that one he shouldn't have played. That one, I think Poch got it completely wrong. He was clearly not fit. But in general, I agree. What do we create for him in general? Phil, again, I said it's elite sport. You're there to take the glory. You have to take the flak. Bang. This is it. We're not playing Sunday League. This isn't a laugh down the pub with your mates, is it? You're playing the elite level of football. You're gonna get flack. And part of these players now, their well-being and how they're looked after at their clubs is learning how to deal with that. David Clark said John Terry missed a penalty which lost Chelsea winning the Champions League final, but he never got the stick Kane is getting. I think the difference is, Kane's missed it playing for England, doesn't he? So you've got a collective fan base, a whole nation of fans, as opposed to John Terry missing for Chelsea. Just Chelsea fans would have had a go. Also, John Terry won how much in his career? So I don't feel it's going to be as important. Harry Kane's got that on his shoulder. He's got that weight right here on his shoulders. And Terry didn't have that. He won a lot in his career. Stephen has said not a single decent cross from our fullbacks against France. Yeah, for sure. Jason has said Messi, Ronaldo have mastered those finest margins and the mental edge. It's the mental edge Kane's missing. Moments in 90 matter, sadly. This is it. This is what Rio Ferdinand and Jermaine Jenas just said. It's all well and good. You can score your 300, 350 career goals, but it's the moments. It's, Drogba scored. This was the example they gave, not me, by the way. Drogba scored a lot less goals than Harry Kane, but Drogba scored in those moments, didn't he? He won so many trophies because he turned up in those big moments. And then there's the debate, who would you rather have in a big game? Would it have been Kane or Drogba? And you can't argue against the Drogba argument, can you? I don't know if anyone can put up an argument, but Marcus said, Sean said on his morning walk that the expected goals for a penalty is 0.75, so 1 in 4 missed. Yeah, look, I mean, people are going to miss penalties. It's natural. It's what people do. David Clark said, if Kane was just part of a great team, he would be in finals making difference, but instead Kane's the focal point of our club where everything goes through him. Yep, good point. Absolutely. Look, the problem is you've got Harry Kane, who is the England captain. Spurs fans put him up there on that pedestal, so other fans are going to try and knock him down to there. That's life. That's football. Spurs fans would have done it to any Chelsea player. We would have celebrated John Terry doing stuff, Gerrard slipping. It's what football fans do, unfortunately. MCFC Lucas has said there is no way Kane will come back stronger. That pen has ended his career. I feel I think that might be a little bit premature, ending his career. I fully expect Kane to come back to Spurs and get another 10 to 15 league goals for the rest of the season, get over 20, 25 league goals again this year. I can't take that seriously. I'm sorry. I know it's opinions, but I don't understand why. So, yes. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Nicola has said England don't have a striker near the level of Kane and do what he does. Yeah, agreed. This is the thing. If you put in, let's look at the options behind him. Callum Wilson, Ivan Toney, Tammy Abraham. When you look at these types of forwards, they're very different. They're out-and-out goal scorers, or they're out-and-out centre forwards. Kane drops deep and comes back. So if you played one of those three instead of Kane, then you really do need a playmaker in there. So for me, just leave Kane there, get a playmaker in behind him like James Maddison. MCFC Lucas says Southgate plays boring football. Second, we let the creative youngsters play. Bang on. I do agree with this one. Bang on. Southgate is, for me, at fault. His substitutions are poor. He took off Saka, who was our most dangerous player. He didn't bring on Grealish until the 98th minute. It gave him 90 seconds to try and do something. Maddison didn't come on at all. He's got this thing about having to get Sterling and Mount onto the pitch, doesn't he? He has to get Sterling and Mount onto the pitch at all expenses. Phil Peters said Maddison should come to Spurs for his sake and ours, but we have zero chance signing him, mate. I think that ship might have sailed. I would have taken... I just think he's a glorious player. I just can't understand how England didn't go 4-2-3-1. Bellingham and Rice in the middle. Saka to the right. Foden to the left. Maddison in the hole. Kane up front. I don't understand. Nope. Southgate wants to pack the midfield with John Henderson. Then when he takes him off, he wants to bring on his other favourite, Mason Mount. Yeah. Nicola said, how will that penalty miss mentally affect Kane come second half of the season? Good point. This is a great point. How will it? I think he'll bounce back stronger. I think Harry Kane is mentally strong. I think he's been there, seen it and done it. He's experienced. He's got the number of goals he's got for a reason. And I think he'll be absolutely fine. Only my opinion. MCFC Lucas has said, big players expected to be to put it in the back of the net in big games. That's why he's paid millions. Yeah, but, he's not the only player that's ever missed, is he? I mean, growing up, I remember watching Roberto Baggio miss a penalty in the World Cup final against Brazil, 94, I want to say. And Roberto Baggio was one of the greatest players that lived. So, Lionel Messi's missed penalties in finals. Gary Lineker missed penalties in a final for Spurs. It happens. It happens, unfortunately. Phil Pierce said Letizia was one of the best and even missed one. Yeah, Letizia was sensational penalty taker, but did miss one. If I'm right, Dave Besant saved it. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong. Donny Jai Wheat has said, hopefully Kane's confidence is shot to pieces and he goes missing for the season. Okay, lovely. I'm sure that's somebody who's not a Spurs fan. Stuart Such said Letizia was about the only one who never missed pens, though he did miss one. Yeah. Foggy Foam has said, parsing Southgate for creating a healthy camp. Well, adults should be able to bathe themselves. Focus should be on the pitch. I'll be honest, sorry, mate. I don't understand what that means. Sorry, I don't understand what that means. Nicola said Saka ripped Hernandez apart. Something Kulu can exploit, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. And then Saka was the player taken off. We will talk about Pedro Porro in a minute. Phil Pierce said, H will get a hero's welcome when he returns to the lane. Tottenham fans will circle the wagons and back our man to the hill. Of course we will. Listen, Harry Kane scores hundreds of goals. That's what he does. Yeah. He scores hundreds of goals. He will. It's a difficult one because I suppose in the back of his mind right now, the question is, right, I've got 18 months left of my contract. Do I want Alan Shearer's record? Do I want to move away? Do I want trophies? Do I not? Lots and lots of questions to be asked. And those conversations, as we said before, Phil, those conversations will be had at the moment in the Tottenham boardroom. They'll be talking about Kane. What if Kane doesn't sign? When do we sell him? Do we let him run down his contract and keep him? Do we sell him in the summer? How much do we sell him for? So there's a lot of conversations that will be going on right now. Pirates King has said, big up Savva, mate. Even as an Arsenal fan, don't criticise Kane. Back your boy. Yeah, I don't think anyone's criticising. I think it's okay to say he hasn't turned up in the biggest games, but there's context around each of them. Ayosha said, I've never seen a Kane penalty sky so high. Clearly the pressure got to him. I do hope we see a new determined version. Yeah, I hope we all do as well, mate. I really hope we do. Stuart Such has said, my worry is that miss will mean Kane will not sign a new contract now and he will be determined to leave and win stuff elsewhere. Stuart, this is a great talking point. What do you guys feel it means? Harry Kane now is going to get more grief than ever about his lack of silverware. You can't help that he hasn't won anything. He has 0 honours to his name as a footballer. And does that play on his mind now? If you're him, are you signing a contract? Answer me, everyone. There's 54 of you in the chat, so thank you very much for that. But if you're Harry Kane, bear with me. Sorry, I don't know where that noise came from. If you're Harry Kane, forget that you're a Spurs fan. Would you sign a new contract at Tottenham Hotspur? Be really honest. Take your Spurs hat off. Would you sign? Because I wouldn't. Not a chance. If I was England's best striker, would I sign another contract for Tottenham Hotspur? Ayesha said, we need Poch as England manager so we can finally get rid of those rumours of him coming back to Spurs. Interesting way of looking at it. Phil was said, to be fair, Saka got a standing ovation when Woolwich played at White Hart Lane in a pre-season final after missing the Euros final, although some of that back might have been to show solidarity to him for the racism. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Dave Clark said, I hope it's not the same as Paul Robinson, that Neville backpack which bounced over his foot into the goal. Paul never recovered from that, his career nosedive. Yeah, true. I just feel Harry Kane's been there, seen it and done it. I can't imagine Kane's going to come back and all of a sudden stop scoring goals. It's in his blood. Pirates King is 7, mate. Do you think Southgate should have bought on Wilson? Let me tell you this, Pyrex King. This is why I can't stand Gareth Southgate as a manager. You're 2-1 down with 20 minutes to go in the quarterfinals of a World Cup. So this is make or break. You've got 20 minutes or you're going home. For me, you throw on Grealish, you throw on Maddison, you throw on Wilson. Every other country does it when they're losing. Even Portugal, when they were losing, they brought on Horta, they brought on Ronaldo, they brought on Rafael. All the attacking players were thrown on. Yeah, they all do it. All the big nations will throw on players. They'll look at Holland the other night against Argentina. He brought on 2 strikers. Yeah, at the end when they were losing 2-0, brought on 2 strikers. Yeah, and Weghorst got a brace. It's what you do. Southgate doesn't do it. Southgate's answer is Sterling and Mount. I can't respect a manager like that. I saw them talking about, I don't know if any of you have seen Sky Sports this morning. They're talking about, he'll leave and join a Champions League club. Who's taking Gareth Southgate? Woeful. Who is taking that man? John Fitzpatrick has said, Savva, what's your thought on this right wing back we've been linked with, Porro? We're going to talk about him in a minute. Bear with me. We're going to talk about him. Phil, he must have nudes of Southgate because Mason Mount, if he's not starting, he's the first player brought on. I don't know what he does. I don't mind him as a player. He's neat, he's tidy. But when you're chasing a game, why is he your sub? Yeah, CR7. They all miss pens. James said, Kane and Son getting old. Who is replacing them? That's a completely another story. That's a big, long subject. David said, Gareth Southgate, when his side is level going into the second half, he's never gone hell for leather to win, which in my books makes him a loser. I agree. It's always safety first. Foggy said, Savva, the focus on Southgate is how he managed to create a healthy camp among players instead of what he has done. Yeah, I agree. The camp look happy, but listen, that hasn't transcended into success. That has transcended into wasting a lot of top footballers. Their talent is being wasted for me. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Will Conte sign the new contract? Should have let someone else take it. Loris has played against him for years, clearly got in his head. Yeah, easy to say after the moment. Problem with that is this, True Blue. Let's be honest. I'm not saying I disagree with you, but let's say Kane didn't take the penalty. Someone else takes it and misses. It will be accused that Harry Kane is a bottle job. Why didn't Harry Kane take it? Harry Kane knows Lloris better than anyone. He should have taken it. So it's difficult. Marcus said it's the away games that will maybe affect Harry with most of the crowd on him. Yeah, we'll see. I think he's too experienced. I really do, but I hope I'm right on that one. Phil said, I do worry about Sonny and H coming back, licking their wounds after disappointing tournaments. They will have something to prove. H especially has come back from knocks before. Yep. Nicholas said, Kane's future may be determined by the business done in January. Possibly. Phil Pierce said, I'd signed due to lack of suitable offers. If a top club does come in, he goes. I agree. Solar said, yes, Sav was good. I'm good, my mate. I hope you are as well. He's gone on to say, us Moroccans are bagging the World Cup. Well, you're 180 minutes away from being world champions. Fair play to you. Let's see what you've got. You've got a tough game. I watched you defend magnificently for the whole tournament. You're going to have to do it again against France, who are going to have plenty of opportunities against you. Good luck to you, is all I can say. Nothing against Morocco. Good luck to you. Lynn has said, Harry Kane, whether it is Spurs or England, he must take every spot kick. It's because he has records he wants to break because there isn't anything else to win, or he does not trust any of his teammates. I just think he's the penalty taker, Lynn, isn't he? He's the penalty taker. I don't imagine any other player would have taken that ball off him. Foggy Foreman said, that Sterling sub really showed me Southgate is clueless. I agree. Why did Sterling come on? Why are we not bringing on creative players? Phila said, why did it take so long to get Stones off? He was clearly crocked. More bad management. MCFC has said, Harry Kane gave us a typical Spurs moment. Cheers, Spurs. Yeah, I think childish comments like that. Cool. I won't read out any more childish comments like that. I think they're really silly. Rob has said, I've come in late. For me, Southgate made the wrong calls. Why didn't he bring Grealish for the last 20 minutes? Bringing on Sterling after going through family issues, really? Rob, I think you could say bringing on Sterling, a player who doesn't really do anything anyway at the moment. But yeah, I agree with you. Phil Pierce says Southgate Spurs, you know it. This worries me. This worries me so much. TT Tone said traditionally big players at other European clubs move to the biggest clubs to win things. It makes the league predictable. Kane staying at Spurs is better for the league. There's one way of looking at it. Lina said, Sav, you need to start at the back until Southgate plays out from the back and gets the ball to the front players. Our talented players will struggle. I don't believe this. I don't believe our problem this tournament was at the back. I believe that the problem was we don't play creativity. He doesn't want the creative players in the team. When you are losing games with 20 minutes to go, why are you not bringing on all your forwards? Why is Mason Mount the first player coming on? Baffling. Pirates King says, Savva, mate, Harry Kane is world-class. That pen doesn't change anything. Look at his record for Spurs. Look, the world-class debate, we've had this many times before. I mean, can you be... I've always said this about any player. Can you be called world-class if you don't turn it on in those major moments and haven't won anything? I don't know. Just a thought. I don't know. Also, I think everyone's called world-class these days. So for me, the tag world-class is really diluted in football. Yeah, you're being silly now, MCFC Lucas, being very, very silly. Yeah, should have brought on Rashford earlier. I mean, look, for me, you bring on Rashford, you bring on Wilson, Maddison, Grealish. Go for it. You're going out anyway. You're going out anyway. Go for the win. We created very little because he doesn't play the creative players. Yeah, let's move on to this. There's lots of talk today. Sorry, just quickly, I want to see this. Mr. Watia said, Savva, the whole Kane shouldn't take the second one argument people say is so stupid. If Saka took it amiss, you can imagine. Right, absolutely. I agree with this. If Kane takes it, it's, he shouldn't take the second one. If Kane doesn't take it, it's Kane's a bottle job, like when Neymar didn't take the first penalty for Brazil. So you can't win. Let's talk, guys. Let's talk about Antonio Conte. Everyone's favourite Tottenham manager, Antonio Conte. Again, more reports coming out today that he's in talks over the next 48 hours in regards to a new contract for Tottenham. Apparently, he wants to know what he's going to be given in January and the summer. And Spurs are saying they want this all wrapped up in the next 48 hours. Now, first and foremost, I like to caveat. Anyone who watches me every day or every week knows I like to caveat things. At the end of the day, right, we don't know the full truth. There's always going to be specks of truth in everything, but we don't know the full truth. I fail to believe, I just fail to believe that Spurs and Antonio Conte have waited until the 12th of December to have contract negotiations to decide if he's going to stay. These conversations for me must have been going on for months. I'm not saying they're not coming to a conclusion, but there's no way that they just started today or yesterday or whatever. Secondly, there's no way he's only finding out now what he's going to get in January or the summer. These people work together every day. They will have these chats as to who's available, what he's going to be given. For me, as I've said, I don't care if the man signs a new contract or not. If he does, back him. If he doesn't, I don't care. I just don't care. I don't like his football. But that's bar nor buy. So what do you guys make? Is Conte going to sign a contract? If Conte signs the contract, does that then remove the argument of it's Levy's fault for what goes wrong moving forward? Because surely then, if Conte signing the contract, he's being given assurances. This is where I find the whole argument very funny about Conte and about Levy. If Conte walks, does it tell us it's all down to Levy? So there's, again, so many permutations here. It's a very, very interesting one. So put in the chat, do you think Conte's going to sign a new contract? Do you think he's not? Do you want him to? For me, I'd like a complete reset. I'd like to see the back of Paratici. If Conte goes, I'd like to get a forward-thinking manager, and I'd like the owners out. But I've stated that many times before. Sola said, yay, Conte new contract, more fossil football. I hear you, mate. I hear you. John has said there's a big chance one of our players is about to be a World Cup winner. Sure, absolutely. And no doubt that our fans will use that as some sort of success for Tottenham rather than them for their country. For me, I want Argentina to win the World Cup. I picked them at the beginning of the tournament. I'm sticking with them. Something just feels right with the whole Messi situation. And I think if ever there was a footballer that deserved a World Cup, it's Lionel Messi. But that means Romero winning it, and fair play to him. Rob Belcher said, it's all ifs and buts and maybes, but if Conte isn't backed in January and leaves, if your preference to who you'd like to replace him. I mean, look, yeah, as you said, Rob, it's all ifs and buts. I'd like a forward-thinking manager. I'd like someone that plays football, like a Luis Enrique. That would be someone that I would look at, somebody that will get the ball down, play football, someone that has emphasis on not inviting teams to have a lot of the ball and attack us. For me, I've never liked that style. I just think it's unnecessary pressure. I like the Pep Guardiola, the Luis Enrique, Johan Cruyff, that style of football, but that's just me. I'm not saying everyone has to like that. No more Christmas tree formations, please. Conte from Nicola. John, this is the difference. There's a lot of people that say what you say, and then there's a lot of people who say what myself and Solar are saying. I do care how we play if we get results. I enjoy football. I'm a football fan. I don't want to. I don't want to watch what we're being dished up at the moment. I don't like managers that set up for us to be attacked against, as I just said. Guys, keep it clean in the chat, please. No telling each other to shut up. Let's keep it clean. Lina said, Savva, I understand, but if you look at Pickford, etc., they're so predictable, the ball should have been switched. But Lynn, I hear you, but I'm just talking about in the last 20, 30 minutes of games. That doesn't, for me, isn't anything about what he does out the back. That's the forwards. Pirates has said, Savva, Conte deserves a new deal. He's been brilliant at Spurs. He deserves the back in. He has brought you guys resilience and turned you into beasts. I mean, first of all, Pirates, I mean, this is a lot of sensationalism. I mean, you know, we've just for the last 7 or 8 games in a row, we've gone 1 or 2-0 down. That's not turning us into beasts. So I feel like you're getting massively carried away here. Look, some fans like his style, some fans don't. That's going to be life. You know, we can't tell we can't tell people what football style to like. I can only advise what I like, and I just don't like his style. It's not for me. It's not why I want to watch football, if I'm honest. Mark said, if he doesn't sign and walks, Poch will be back to silence the fans. Yeah, I think that will happen. I can see it happening. I've said all along, Levy's the king of having rabbits in his hat. Yeah. So, yeah, I can see that happening. Will Kane stay at Spurs? We don't know. We talked about that just now. Stuart Such, if you're a better man, who's going to win a trophy next, Spurs or England? Yes, Stuart, I agree. I have a feeling I'll die before I find out. I can't see either of them winning anything at all. Coach TPM said, for me personally, I think Kane is on his way out. He needs trophies and he can't get them here. I agree. I agree. Look, he tried to leave before, right? He made his intentions clear. He wants to win things. Sawa said, quality, shout that. Yeah, I like Enrique. And then this makes me laugh. So again, different styles, different folks. But when you say you hate tiki-taka, so you hate your team having the football. Do you prefer Conte's style to tiki-taka? There's a good question. Do you believe that? I can't understand how any fan would want to watch their team have very little of the football. Whether it's tiki-taka or just possession-based football, I want my team to have the ball. I want my team to manipulate the football and control what happens in a game. And as Pep Guardiola always says, if the other team don't have the ball, they can't hurt you. It's a basic of football. David Clark said, Messi is a horrible control freak. I don't want him to win a World Cup. What a weird... Is a horrible control freak. What do you mean by that? Why would you not want one of the greatest players that's ever lived to win a World Cup? We have some weird takes. Why is he a control freak? Rich says, Savva, do you not think Conte's defensive approach will work better if we actually had defenders? Rich, It might work better, but I don't want to play defensive football. Again, I can only speak for myself. I don't want to watch counter-attacking or defensive football. It's not football I enjoy. It's football that's set up to make the most of other teams' mistakes rather than focus on your own football. It's not for me. True Blue says, give Conte a proper wing back if we're keeping at least back his ideas. Again, I agree with this. If he stays, he's got to be backed. But if he stays, then he must have had assurances he's backed, so there can be no more questions. It will. The moment he signs a new contract, failure and success now goes on to Conte because he's signing the new contract, right? Yeah. Again, tiki-taka, yeah, is wonderful if you get it right, but lots of people can't do it. That is true. I just don't think it has to be called tiki-taka. You know, Pochettino played a good style of football for many years. It wasn't tiki-taka, but it was high pressing, keep the ball intense. Good style of football. Foggy Foreman said, true, good football attract also quality players. Look at Simeone, how talented players get wasted. We need to improve our football style. Key element change, that back line. I agree. For me, I want to see a playmaker in there. I want to see defenders that can bring it out. I just want to see us play a bit. I don't remember the last time I really enjoyed watching Tottenham. Stuart Sutter said, if football was boring, we never would have got into it in the first place. Whilst I want success, but we play 60-odd games a year, never win anything, so at least want to enjoy. Stuart, I said yesterday on my show, for years, I've beat the drum of we have to win. I want to win football. I want to win a trophy. I'm now at the stage where if we're not going to win trophies playing bad football, at least try and win trophy. At least try and play some good football. You know, it's a spectator sport. Mr. Mister said, Poch is coming back 100%. I can see it from a mile back. People, only 23 likes, 75 of you in here. Come on, smash that like button for me. Pirates King says, Savva, bro, you've been coming back. It shows you have good resilience in-game and in-game management. Those comebacks have you in top 4. But Pirates King, you can't tell me how to think. Beasts. If Conte really had us playing like beasts, whatever that means, you don't play the way we play every first half. You don't go 1-0, 2-0 down every game. Look, it's not your club. You can't tell me how to like, what to like. I don't like it. You can come back to me all you want. I do not like his style of play. It's not going to change by you giving me all these analogies and talking about beasts and comebacks. Top teams don't have to come back from losing every single game. Yeah? That means you've been set up badly to begin with. Phil P, he's turned us into wounded cage beasts. Lynn has said Levy is using Harry as his insurance policy. That's how ruthless he is. Yeah. TT Tone said Conte style isn't great, but before he arrived, we all agreed he was a world-class manager. It's all about not having enough players with quality. We didn't all agree he's a world-class manager. Again, world-class. For me, I'll look at managers and say, hey, can you be world-class and not win the Champions League? Can you be world-class and constantly be knocked out of cups by Nottingham Forest B teams and by Moura and by Middlesbrough? It swings and roundabouts. Robert said it's a great shout. Luis Enrique is available, but at this moment, until Conte gets upgrades in the back line, I wouldn't want him to stay. Agreed. Grow up. Dave Clark said, because he controlled Barcelona throughout his time there at the expense of other players, there's plenty of proof. I mean, David, sorry, mate, you're chatting absolute nonsense. If it wasn't for Lionel Messi, Barcelona wouldn't have had the period of dominance they had. What an absolute load of waffle, David. Lionel Messi scored how many goals for Barcelona? When you say he controlled Barcelona, I mean, I can guarantee they'd love him back right now. Sorry, I just don't understand football fan psyches. Such weird comments from grown men. Mark, thank you very much for the super chat. I said, how can you support Argentina? Remember 86. Mark, again, it's not supporting Argentina. I'd like to see Messi win it. I feel like he's the greatest player I've ever seen. And I want to see the great players win things. If I supported France, people would say, oh, how can you support France? They just knocked England out. How can you support Morocco? You know, how can you support Croatia? They knocked us out of the World Cup semis. I'm an adult. I don't care what happened in 1986. Come on, man. Come on. John has said, AFC without Jesus, just watch your season crumble. John, be careful what you wish for. They're going to buy some players. You just know they will. Robert said, strange comment about Messi. You would never see him selling his soul to the Devils. Piers Morgan. I agree, Rob. I don't understand what David's going on about there. We seem to want to find the worst in everybody rather than celebrate the greatest player we've ever seen, arguably, depending on who you like. It's weird. I don't understand people. They want to hate for hating's sake. Ayush said we need Enrique. Listen, there's only one of the names for me of someone that I'd like. No, David, these aren't facts. What are facts is what you read is facts, is it? No, it's not. If that's the case, I could read anything into anything. At the end of the day, when you say he controlled Barcelona, I mean, you ask any Barcelona official or fan whether or not they would have rather he not be there to win them all those Champions leagues and score, 600-700 goals for them. Come on, get real. You come out with some really odd things. But, hey, each to their own. Ken T has said, I think if Conte gets the defenders he wants, the football will be more entertaining. I watched him at Inter Milan. I watched him at Chelsea. His football was never entertaining. It was pragmatic. It was effective at times, but I wouldn't call him an entertaining manager. Pirates King says, Savva, bro, teams like Brighton Norwich play good football. Where's they end up finishing? If I have to explain this to you, Brighton do not have Kane, Kulusevski and Son up top. Hence why they're never going to be in the top four. If you put our front three in Brighton's team, they finish in the top four. Come on, these are basics. These are silly. You keep coming away with silly throwaway comments. It's getting silly. Nicholas said, why are looking to improve our attacking options but rewarding Davies and Dyer with new contracts? Again, the way the club's run. Foggy Foam. Sorry, Pirates King, stop telling me. Right, stop. Football is a results business, yes. But when it matters, Conte's been knocked out of the Cup to Forest. He's been knocked out by Moura. He's been knocked out by Middlesbrough. We go behind in every game. If you want to watch bad football, it's up to you, mate. I don't. You can't tell me to like it. Stop trying to tell me. Stop trying to tell me. Foggy Foam has said France versus Argentina. Final will be the best. Kuti needs to be calm because he has been rushing things this tournament. Yeah, again, I like Romero, Foggy Foam. I do think that a lot of people want him to be better than he is. When I watch Vardiel play and then I watch Romero, one is superior to the other. I think Romero is a good defender. I think he's rash. I think he's got to cut that out of his game. He comes rushing out and smashes people. And I don't think he needs to. For me, top defenders don't do that. The best defenders in the world don't need to do that. They're up there. They're playing up there. Linda said, Conte has been found out because if he has this world-class manager, he would have been able to do what Tuchel did when he came to Chelsea. I mean, look, different faults. For me, it makes me laugh that we call Conte world-class, but whenever we lose a game, it's the players, and when he wins, it's a tactical masterclass. I just don't think he's world-class. I think he's got one boring way of playing football and never any new ideas. He doesn't evolve anything. It's just me. It's just me. Mr. Mistress said Messi is supposed to have a say in the clubs he is playing. He's the difference maker, the reason they win and dominate. It's I don't understand when people say he controls. I don't get it. Like, why would I mean who would take Messi at Tottenham? Right? Why? I don't think that he's got a bad character. I just think when you are that good, you have set expectations of what you want to see. That's good. Robert said, come on, smash that thumbs up. It's totally free. Giving us a free platform to our views. Thanks, Rob. That's all we're doing here. That's all we're doing. If people could smash the like button. And if anyone wants to put super chats, then you're welcome to. John, I can make you a mod. Message me on YouTube after the show. I can make you a mod. Pyrex King says, Savva, anyway, thoughts on Mbappe this World Cup? Quality, isn't he? Just quality. He is one of those that can change the game in a second. He's one of those that scares defenders for 90 minutes straight. my only other issue I've ever had with Mbappe is not about his ability. It's always been about why would you not go to a better league than France? But hey, that's his choice. But yeah, he's been great. Just haven't been for a while. Yep, but yeah, there's no problem. It's all good. Adrian has said Conte will sign a new contract already and talks to Paratici. Oh, good. Conte and Paratici working together fills me with such joy and optimism. THFC said Kane only plays well when the other 10 play well. Interesting take. And let's be honest, Kane is not world class. He is top class. Another interesting take. Harvey said, so just say it as it is. I, Savva, would celebrate if I see the back of Conte, whether he wins something or not. I mean, Harvey, when people like you come out with really childish comments like that, why would I celebrate? Listen, right, for anybody, I put myself on a platform so that I can say exactly what I mean to say. So when idiots like Harvey want to then tell me what I'm trying to say, please don't give it any credence. Anyone who watches me week in, week out knows what I've said. I don't care if Conte stays or not. It's not about celebrating. I don't care. For me, if Conte stays, fine. But if he stays, it's on his shoulders because he's signing now knowing how the club works. So if he stays, it can't then be, oh, well, it's Levy's fault. No, Conte has signed. It's up to him. If he goes, cool. I've seen loads of managers at Spurs. We'll bring another manager in. It's not about celebrating. And whether he wins something or not, I mean, why would I not celebrate Spurs winning a trophy? I don't understand silly comments like that. I'm really sorry. Thank you, Pyrex King. Yeah, smash up the likes. I think it's really important not to paraphrase what people are saying. I'm saying it here. David Clark said that's a football argument, not an argument about his character, his control of the club, running to the president to get his way. I mean, David, okay, cool. Listen, I just like the best footballers in the world. If you want to worry about other stuff, cool. As I said, would Barcelona have rather he be there for that 15 years or not? What do you reckon, mate? I know which one they'll take. Marcus said, according to Ali Gold, we have been trying different things in training, so maybe there'll be a plan B. Yeah, I hear a lot of things from Ali Gold. I'll wait and see. Lynn Simpson has said, I totally agree with you, Savva. Can see when he is on the sideline, as soon as you go a goal down, he doesn't have a plan B. He doesn't try anything. This is the thing for me. I think teams know how to set up against us. I think all of a sudden we start playing when we're behind, and that tells me that he's instructing them to start the way we start. THFC, Savva, I watched you yesterday with Sean and the other bloke. You guys look defeated. Defeated about what? Make that make sense for me. Defeated about what? Don't know what that means. Okay. Drake said, do you think Levy will back Conte now in January? I mean, look, we've hoped Levy will back managers for years and years and years. But look, it depends. Some fans will just say that he's backed the manager no matter who is signed, Drake. But the problem is for me is it doesn't need to be Amrabat. I don't want Amrabat to sign. I don't want another midfielder or a forward to join right now. It needs to be wing backs. It needs to be centre backs. It needs to be what we need. That for me is backing him. Adrian has said Spurs players at the World Cup will have returned to training a week before the away game at Brentford. Yeah, it should give them enough time there. It should give them enough time. They're professionals. They're fit. They're athletes. They should be fine. Yeah, absolutely. Lynn, absolutely. It's not about celebrating managers leave, but it's about I have a style that I like to see. If people like Conte's style, I'm not telling anyone not to like it. That is the complete difference. I'm not telling anyone not to enjoy that style of play. I just don't. For what they charge, I don't want to go and watch us sit back and defend. TT Turner said, how would you get more creativity on midfield at which player's expense? Depends, doesn't it? Depends who the manager is. For me, if I was going to get more creativity into a Conte style, it would be playing two centre mids, one attacking midfielder and two forwards. I would play a playmaker behind two forwards. Ideally, though, I'd like to see a 4-3-3, where you sort of 4-2-3-1. So you can get a playmaker in there. That's what I felt. THSC is defeated as in you guys don't believe in Conte, don't believe Conte will be backed, believe that we should go back to a second manager and not prioritising winning silverware. Right, again, I just felt depressed after the stream. You don't have to watch. Don't watch THFC. This, again, guys, please don't buy into this nonsense. I have not ever said attacking football should be the priority over winning silverware. What I've said is I can't keep explaining. I don't understand. Everyone's got their ears to listen, right? At the end of the day, what I'm saying is I don't think we're winning anything playing this style of football anyway. So if that's the case, I'd rather see attacking football. I'd rather see good football. That's different to me saying I'd rather play attacking football than win something. I just don't think we're going to win anything playing this way. And THFC, I'll tell you how you know we're not going to win anything playing this way, because he's been knocked out of the FA Cup by Middlesbrough. He got knocked out of the League Cup by Forest, the Conference League by Mura. So when you're calling me defeatist, I didn't get these results. This is what Conte got. David's back again. So you would accept anything from a player because he's great on the field. Better players with great characters like Pele, Sabia, and many others I would support. I don't care, David. I don't care. I don't care. As I said, did Barcelona suffer from having Lionel Messi at the club? Yes or no? Did Barcelona suffer from the age of Messi being 16 to 33 playing for their club? Or did they go through a period of absolute domination? Think about what you're saying, mate. Absolute nonsense. Yes, I know, Pyrex King. Drake said, what is your thought on Man United getting new owners? Listen, always bet the devil you know, but you just know new owners coming in will pump money in. They've got a great manager there that they'll back that's got a really good philosophy. So it could be dangerous for us. THFC has said, with that mindset, we will definitely get overlapped by Newcastle. No, THFC, my mindset on what I see at Tottenham has nothing to do with what will happen with Tottenham and Newcastle. Please stop being silly. My mindset has nothing to do with how the club is run. Ayosha said we need to get some proper centre-backs and go with a 4 at the back. Enough of fitting clowns like Dyer into the team. This. I'm not the biggest fan of wing-backs. Only me. I think to play wing-backs, you've got to have 2 brilliant ones and 3 top centre-halves. And Spurs don't have any of that. And I quite like the back 4 because I don't think it limits you as much going forward. Phil President said, I won't believe anything on players coming in until I see them hold up a shirt. Absolutely. I completely agree with you, Phil. Rob Belcher said, some channels saying that Kane's a bottle job because he plays for Spurs. I wish that were true. All bottlers, Messi, Ronaldo, Aguero, Henry, etc. I've had them at Spurs. I'd have them at Spurs. Look, I think anybody who calls players a bottle job, I find it, just myself, I find it a little bit childish. Players miss penalties. It happens. I don't understand. It happens. Lynn Simpson has said, Savva, some of the fans want good football. If that is the case, then Conte is not your man, so they can't have it both ways. In my opinion, a lot of fans have been brainwashed by the name Conte. I agree. I feel like a lot of people, if Nuno or Jose was doing what Conte's doing right now, fans would hate it. But because his name's Conte, they seem to love it. Just saying. I agree with that, Lim. Foggy Foamer said 50 million remaining from the summer and January budget. No excuses needed not to give him a right wing back, centre back, right wing. Mate, we've had plenty of time. This is their daily job, right? This is Paratici's job, Conte's job, Levy's job, the scouts, the analysts. This is their jobs to get these players in place. Marcus said, I used to go a lot in the 90s when we were shite, great football, but we normally lost. But we won more in the 90s. We won more in the 90s than since we have. I don't understand this notion that because there's been times when we played good football and didn't win, that not playing good football will see us win. There's no evidence of that. We are not winning anything playing this style of football under Conte. I don't understand what this means. I'm so sorry. The Tottenham teams you have seen be successful played good football. So I don't understand. Savva, thoughts on Spurs fans who said Emerson is good defensively and class. That's your fans, by the way. Yeah, mate, listen, any fan who thinks Emerson is good defensively, I really, really worry. He is not, no, it's not for me. Adrian said, De Vries is a likely right centre-back signing, and with an 89% pass completion, welcome addition. Just a much better centre-back than what we've got. I'd take him all day long. Drake said, Savva, who are your top 3 players of all time? Mine would be Messi, Ronaldo, Maradona. Mine would be Lionel Messi, followed by Maradona, followed by the Brazilian Ronaldo would be my 3. I just think I've never seen anything like Messi before, and I don't think we'll ever see it again. THFC says, Savva, should we be threatened by Kane not wanting to sign? I don't think threatened is the word. It gives the club, as we said earlier, a decision to make. It gives the club a decision of, okay, if Kane's not signing, what do we do with him this summer? 2 schools of thought. Sell him, get as much money as you can for a guy with 1 year left on his contract and look to build something else, or keep him and lose him the next year on free, but get 25 to 30 goals. It's completely up to Spurs. But for me, if I was Kane, I wouldn't sign. Ayush has said, I find it hilarious people that think that you can't win trophies while playing good. Only here at Spurs, we have to choose one of the 2. Ayush, I agree. Name me teams that don't play good football that are winning trophies. Who's dominated the Premier League the last 5, 6, 7 years? Liverpool, Man City. Yeah. Real Madrid. Barcelona. If we're looking at the last 15, 20 years, Real Madrid, Barcelona, the Man United teams. Yeah. I mean, how many people win trophies playing bad football? I think that's not a thing of the, I think it's a thing of the past. I don't think it happens now. Okay, can you shithouse your way to a final? But ultimately, you've got to put in the big performance when it matters. MCFC looks said, if it was an Arsenal player that missed the pen, you would be backing him as much as you're backing Kane. Yeah, listen, I think what we've got to, you can't have it both ways. If you want to support England, if you want to support whatever nation that you are from, then you support those players while they're playing for that country. Yeah. I feel like the same way Saka missed the penalty in the Euros, you back him. Yeah. Obviously, you don't want him to do well against Spurs for Arsenal, but it's playing for England. So for me, I think this comes down to maturity. I don't want to see any footballer suffer. I don't like that. It's not nice. Lynn has said Poch played a much better style than Conte. However, it would be a little bit risky taking him back because it never works. Yeah, lots to dissect there. Pirates King says Savva was Paul Konchesky crap at Spurs. Well, there's a name from the past. I mean, Paul Konchesky was a steady Eddie. He was an okay footballer. You got what you paid for. Do I think Levy will sell Tottenham soon? I can only hope. I've only hoped for 15 years that he sells Tottenham, but it won't be down to him, will it? Mainly, it will be down to Joe Lewis and the Enoch Group. So, look, I want to see that. As I've said, I want to see a complete reset. I want a new manager, a new director of football, and new owners to start blank, start a clean slate. Here's your 5-year plan. This is what we're going to implement. Then when that manager goes, the new manager comes in, has got the same ethos. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see us go down this route of negative football so that when Conte does leave, we're left with lots of negative footballers. I see what you mean. Sorry, Mark. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, even when we were losing, it was, we gave it a go. We played football. Now I feel like it's just tough to watch. TT Tone said, in any team, having a keeper and 2 centre-backs, you can feel safe. We've given the rest of the team confidence to attack. Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is why I cannot understand how Conte and Paratici's first acts at this football club weren't to bring in top centre-backs. I can't understand it at all. I can't understand how they haven't gone further and brought in top wing-backs. I don't get it. Flash Errol said, any players from the World Cup caught your attention and want him at Spurs? Many. Many players I would want at Spurs from this World Cup. I mean, you'd have to say I like Milenkovic of Serbia. I like the centre half from Morocco, something Teak. I think I like him. I've been impressed with a lot of players. The central midfielder from Morocco, I liked him. Not Amrabat, the more advanced player. There was a couple of players that played for Duan, who played for Japan. I really liked him. I thought he was very good. I liked Melee at wing back. I liked Acuna at wing back. There's lots of players I would take, loads. Sir Josh said, I just read on the news that Conte will discuss a contract this week. If he does not sign it, then Levy needs to go. It's as simple as that. I mean, Sir Josh, I suppose it all depends on how you look at it, right? I mean, if Conte doesn't sign, he doesn't sign. We can say we want Levy to go, but until they sell up, it's not going to happen, my man. It's not going to happen. They own the club. And again, I'll say I don't care if Conte signs a new contract. So I just want Levy to go anyway. I don't think for me it's based on Conte signing. I just want him to go anyway. The only two centre-backs we are after are Hincapié and Pau Torres. Who should we choose? I mean, do you know that for a fact, or are you just asking me hypothetically? I'd take both. I'd take both of those players. Why not? Why not? Take both. Agreed. Spurs Southgate does need to go. Michael Rogers said, I'll be very surprised if Son and Kane are with us next season. I can't envision, Michael, that they will let both go in one summer. I just can't imagine Daniel Levy would want that on his plate. I just can't see it. Please smash that like button, people. There's 95 of you in the chat. There are 43 likes. That means half of you haven't liked. Anyone wants to put in a super chat, please feel free. You've got to back the English lads. If you're backing England, you've got to back the players. You can't, wait till they're knocked out and suddenly start blaming the player from the club you don't like. It's silly. It's very silly. What are the chances of Ian excelling? They will at some point. But at the moment, it's an absolute cash cow for them, isn't it? They've got no need to. It's a cash cow. That's what they've created. Everyone thought they were creating the stadium and everything to create a top winning Premier League team. But what they've done is created a cash cow. Lina said Conte was playing in much slower leagues than the Premier League, and that is why he parks the bus, because that is his one and only style they play. There's been times when he hasn't parked the bus, but even then it's still really rigid and boring for me. Only for me, Lynn. As I said, I'm not telling anyone not to like it. Who was worse, Ian Walker or Emerson? I mean, well, look, one was a goalkeeper and one's a right wing back, but Ian Walker was good on his day. He was a decent goalkeeper. So I'd have to say Emerson. Never trust Levy. Of course, we never trust Levy. Ever. Haven't trusted the man for 15, 20 years. Foggy Foamer says, should we get Porro? Do you see Spurs getting rid of both Emerson and Doherty and let Spencer learn from Porro? I mean, let's talk about that. There's a 38 million euro release clause in his contract, Pedro Porro. From Sporting Lisbon, 23 years of age, can play right back, right wing. Very talented player. We've seen him firsthand play against Tottenham this year. The Portuguese clubs at the moment are bringing through so much talent. If you look at Benfica and Sporting, the talent they're bringing through is crazy. But in the background, Man City have a buyback clause on Pedro Porro. Don't know if anyone knew that, but they do have a buyback clause for 30 million euros, I believe. It would just be our luck that we're putting a bid for Pedro Porro and then Man City go, oh, hang on, let's get this guy in to replace Kyle Walker at some point. So we'll see, but I'd take him. Would you not take Pedro Porro? I mean, he's a million miles better than Emerson Royal. Paratici hiding in a cave, trying not to get arrested. Again, very Spursy, isn't it? Lina said, look how Son was so lethal, but now players from other teams don't get so concerned about him. Yeah, I feel he's being stifled in our system. I really do. Pirates King said, Premier League needs more teams like Stoke and Burnley because they can surprise the big boys and need managers like Sam Allardyce. A lot to be said for that. Adrian said, a stadium naming rights deal has to be struck before the club is sold. For example, if Google strike a naming rights deal, their global brand will attract buyers. Agreed, Adrian. If I'm honest, I can't believe that that there isn't any stadium naming rights yet. I can't believe this has not been agreed. The stadium's been open for years. Chem, thank you very much, mate. I hope you're well. Thank you very much. He said, you don't have to tell me not to like Antonio Pulis. It just seems funny, doesn't it? If you don't like a manager's style, you get berated for it. It's like there's people out there who don't like Pep Guardiola's style of football. That's fine, but you can't tell someone to like it, can you? Or not like it. Mr. I'm going to go for 5 more minutes, by the way. Mr. said, I think most Juve fans rate higher Allegri than Conte. Remember the adjustments he made in the Spurs game in the Champions League. I mean, both were boring, but one can adjust to the situation at hand. A lot to be said for that. Yeah, Peter, City do have a buyback clause for Pedro Porro. They do. And if you think about it, Walker's not getting any younger. He's getting more injuries. If I was Man City, I know what I'd be doing. THFC said, Savva, should we keep in mind that Poch is coming next summer with our January signings? So basically, we'll only buy players that Poch also wants in his teams. Look, this is the big thing. This is why we need to see what's happening. Either Conte signs the contract and we commit to this way of playing and buying what he needs, or we don't and he's not allowed to buy any more players. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? That's why people keep telling me the club's going in the right direction. I just don't feel that there's a direction to where we're going. I've said all along, I think Conte is a very short-term solution. I don't see him as a project-type manager. I don't see him as a manager that's gone anywhere and built. But each to their own. I don't dislike Conte. It's just not to my liking the style of play. I think people get the two very much confused. Chema said, not a case of would we take him. The question is, does he want to join Spurs to play anti-football? Yeah, I mean, yeah, we do this a lot, don't we? Do say, oh, would you take him, as opposed to, yeah, would he join us? Good point. Very good point. Would I take El Nesri? I mean, no. I mean, we've already got Richarlison as a backup to Kane. I wouldn't take El Nesri as well. I don't see the point in it. Just buying more strikers to not play. EA has said the only time I'll see Spurs win a trophy anytime soon is on FIFA career mode. Fair enough. And Lina says, Savva, the players that Conte will probably go for is players from Juventus because they are already ready to go without a lot of coaching. Yeah, I mean, I just can't imagine at the moment, Lynn. I don't know what you feel about this, but can you imagine that Spurs are going to do business with Juve after everything that's going on with Paratici and the Juventus board? Can you see it? I just think it would be so, I don't know. I just think it would be so naive to go and do that. Peter Kipper said, if the Conte situation doesn't improve, I'm all for Hansi Flick. Interesting. Ayush has said, thoughts on a front three of Leao, Richarlison and Kulusevski. I mean, do you know what, Ayush? I think at some point we're going to have to not see the Kane and Son in the front three, right? And please, before anyone misinterprets what I'm saying, I'm not saying that has to be now, but in the next couple of years, I feel we need to evolve. I feel that people know what's going to happen at Spurs. So I like Leao. I like Kulusevski. Richarlison, I'm not as sold on. I don't know if he's good enough, hold up play, etc. But hey, why not? Let's give it a go. Why not? Leao is a good player. I like him. Savabra, apparently Charlton was my local team. Where are you getting that from? That Charlton was my local team. I worked for Charlton Athletic, and they're not too far from me. I would say Millwall is closest to me, if anything, if we're going to league football. Adrian has said we can expect at least 2 new signings in January, but we still have to get rid of Reguilon, Rodon, Winks and Dembele Lascelles. So, mate, said it in the summer. Everyone praised Paratici for moving these players out on loan, but they've got to come back. So let's hope that doesn't derail our season. Last couple of comments in the day, I'm going to jump off. Drake said, do you think Tottenham have a chance against teams like Real Madrid or Bayern Munich if Conte isn't back? No, I don't think we've got a chance against them if he is backed. I think these clubs will wander through us at will. I've just watched 8 or 9 teams, whatever it is, in a row go 1-0 or 2-0 up against us. And none of them have been the level of Madrid or Bayern Munich. So I hate to think. THS says, Savva, the problem with Conte is that he hasn't signed and the players he wants don't want to come because he's only got a year left. He hasn't even got a year left. He's got 6 months left. And I agree. If I was a player across Europe, if I was Pedro Porro, and they come to me and go, right, do you want to join Spurs? I go, okay, who's the manager in the summer? Well, we're hoping it's Conte. Oh, what, you don't know? Like, equally, does Pedro Porro want to play for Conte? Not just Pedro Porro. There will be footballers out there that do not want to play in a Antonio Conte style. I think we have to remember that. Not every football fan wants to play the kind of Conte or Simeone way of football. Some people want to play for the Pep Guardiolas and the Klopps. Yeah, they want to play for those managers. They don't want to play for Conte. So we have to take that into account. Peter Kipper said, if Kane leaves, I'm confident on Richie playing as a 9, only if there is quality around him. I think that's a good point. I mean, I'm not confident on him playing there, but if he does play there, Peter, for me, you're right. I think what we then need to do is get a playmaker, because he doesn't do both like Kane does. And that's the big thing. TT Turner said the business would thrive on certainty and confidence. As soon as we know what is happening with Conte, Kane and all unwanted players, we can move forward. I agree. That's why it should have been tied up long before 26. Sorry, it's really bad maths. 18 days until the January transfer window opens. 19 days. Pirates King, thank you very much. Great show, channel. You're a real Spurs fan. Well, yes, I like to think we're all real Spurs fans, but thank you. Please keep smashing that like button. 48 likes. Let's see if we can at least get to 50. Lynn Simpson has said, would you like to see a much more up-to-date manager with much more of a long-term project? Yes, I do. I don't like his style of play. Yeah. Michael Rogers said, I'm not sold on Richie. I don't think he can replicate his form with Brazil for us because we don't play the same style or talent. Yeah, a lot to be said for that. Lina says, Savva, I forgot about the sporting director. Yeah, absolutely. Aisha said, Bissouma, Bentancur, Maddison. I mean, look, that's a nice little tripod right there. Maddison in behind the forward. Lovely. And the last one I'm going to take is, would you take Poch back? No, I don't particularly want Poch back. I'd rather watch a Poch team than a Conte team. Take into that what you will. Anyway, guys and girls, it's been wonderful. I love these little sessions. We'll do another one tomorrow if you want. Jump on. We'll talk about any new Spurs news over the last 24 hours. We'll have more questions and answers. Hopefully it's appreciated. And apologies that Lionel Messi is a control freak. Much love all. See you later. Please like, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. We are heading towards 2,500. We're 105 away from that. So if I can get 4 or 5 subs to get me to at least 2,400 to begin with, that would be brilliant. Big up Phil, big up Pyrex, big up Peter. I'll be back tomorrow roughly the same time. Much love. See you then. Take care.